What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel with more WWE 2K22. One of the most exciting things about the game every single year is its roster, and with so many releases over the last 2 years, no doubt that WWE 2K22 is going to be taking a massive hit. So in this video, I want to discuss 5 shocking additions that I really want to see added to WWE 2K22 roster to make up for that extra loss of superstars that we will be getting. Before we get into it though, if you guys want to continue being up to date on all the latest WWE 2K22 news and updates, make sure to have those notifications turned on. Also, if you want even more WWE 2K videos, check out the second channel. Number 1 is AJ Lee. She would 100% be the biggest addition that the women's division could be getting. The last time that we got to see AJ Lee in a WWE game was in WWE 2K15, so it has been quite a while. Since then, the WWE 2K women's roster has been expanding. We have gone from only 10 women being part of the roster to 40 and 50 plus. And that is because 2K has been doing a really good job at including a lot of the legends, making that women's division as big as possible in their game. We know that AJ Lee left the WWE on good terms. We know that WWE wants her back, so 2K ultimately could make some type of deal where they could do some special contract to at least have her as one of the legends in the game, even if she's not returning to in-ring competition. Number 2 is Chris Jericho, someone that I didn't think we were even gonna be talking about this by this time this year. The reason for that is because, of course, Chris Jericho is an AEW superstar. He is literally on top of that company. He is the most popular and recognizable name, but he is also the only superstar to appear on a WWE show while still being contracted to AEW. As we got to see during WrestleMania week, Chris Jericho was a special guest for the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast, which again came as a huge shocker. We ended up learning that Vince McMahon approved his appearance on the WWE network twice with Stone Cold Steve Austin. It was such a shocker that Stone Cold Steve Austin has to ask Vince McMahon twice about it because he just couldn't believe it. So that brings up the question if maybe WWE 2K could convince WWE to approve Chris Jericho for him to be in WWE 2K22. As of course one of the legends, even if it is an older model version of him, it will be awesome if 2K managed to pull that off. Again, Vince McMahon already kind of did the even more unthinkable thing, and that is letting Chris Jericho be in the WWE network while still contracted with AEW. So who's to say that maybe they won't allow Chris to be in the game as well? All of this of course will require for 2K to still pay Chris Jericho some type of money for him to be in it, but the possibilities are there. The last time that we got to see Chris Jericho in a WWE game wasn't that long ago, as it was in WWE 2K19, but he has always been a favorite to play with and to just have as part of the roster, so he was highly missed on 2K20. At number 3, we got the Boogeyman, someone who we haven't seen in a WWE game for over a decade now, since the SmackDown vs. Raw series, and that I believe is since SmackDown vs. Raw 2008. He has been someone advocating to be in WWE 2K games for years now. Every time they announce the game on Twitter, he always tells the fans to tell Vince McMahon and to tell WWE games to put him in the game, that the Boogeyman wants in. And then last year it finally happened. He ended up being in WWE 2K Battlegrounds, but unfortunately that's not the WWE 2K simulation series. That is not the main series, so having him back in the simulation game would really be a great addition. I would love to see Boogeyman go at it with so many of the current superstars like The Fiend and so on. That's a WrestleMania Universe mode main event right there. Talking about a main event, at number 4 is Umaga, another superstar that we haven't seen since the SmackDown vs. Raw series. And this is disappointing to say because he should have been in the game already as one of the legends. And as you guys know, on stream we are always revisiting those older games, and man, Umaga is usually one of the favorites to see compete, especially in like Royal Rumbles. His moveset is awesome and he is a complete beast. He really is one of those underrated legends that should be in the game in WWE 2K22, and even after that he should be a constant in that Legends roster. roster, and he would definitely be a great addition to our universe more nowadays. Before stepping into number 1, we got an honorable mention, but one that is highly unlikely, and that is Owen Hart. I think by now we know that this is a bit more complicated than 2K just asking WWE for approval on it, because the bigger picture is that Owen Hart's wife is the one that needs to approve all of this, and as we heard before, she doesn't want anything to do with WWE. Hopefully that changes sometime in the future, because having him in the game as one of the legends will be awesome. Some extra honorable mentions will be JBL, the Great Khali, Justin Thunder Liger, and RVD. But as I mentioned on previous videos, these are superstars that are very likely to make it in the game already, because they were part of this year's WWE Hall of Fame. Number 1 is definitely the most shocking one if we do get to see it, and that is CM Punk. The last time that we got to see CM Punk in a WWE game was also just like his wife in WWE 2K15, and that is certainly a long time. He barely made it to that game too, because as we know, he quit WWE early in that year, and 2K had no choice but to work out some type of special deal and still keep him in the game despite everything that happened, because he was part of the showcase. If CM Punk was removed, half of the showcase would have been cut. That would have been a lot of work lost and a lot of changes that would have been necessary. We recently had CM Punk indicating on Twitter that he will never be in a WWE game because of course WWE won't approve it, unless he ends up returning to the company, of course. But CM Punk has also indicated in the past that if the money is right, he will be down to do something like that. Again though, the issue comes on whether or not WWE is going to approve it, and some part of me kind of feel like they might be able to approve CM Punk being contracted to WWE 2K for him to be in the game in some type of way, especially because of what we have seen over the last 2 years. That being CM Punk working on WWE 2K backstage, but of course contracted to Fox, not WWE. Regardless, based on multiple reports, WWE still had to approve for CM Punk to be in it in some way, shape, or form. So who knows, if it comes to the same type of situation, maybe WWE will approve it. Maybe Vince will be okay because he knows it will be best for business. And when you look at it, because it's so shocking, CM Punk will be an incredible pre-order bonus, bringing in a lot of older fans back, and of course even ones that are still new to it but that still know who CM Punk is and the impact that he made when he was in WWE. There's so many dream matches that we would love to see CM Punk be part of, so if he was in the game, that would sort of give us a bit of a teaser for it. Seeing CM Punk against the current Roman Reigns, the current Bray Wyatt, Daniel Bryan, a lot of the brand new up and coming superstars, and of course even current Seth Rollins will be awesome, especially after they've been teasing it over on social media for a bit, kind of going back and forth, and Seth Rollins even challenging CM Punk to a WrestleMania match. Maybe someday it would happen, but for the meantime, will be awesome for 2K to let us see it. Anyways guys, that is what I got for you on this video. 5 shocking additions to the roster of WWE 2K22 that I would really love to see. Let me know which other legends you would like to see return to the series, and if you want to continue being up to date on all the latest WWE 2K22 news and updates, make sure to turn on those notifications. I'll catch you on the next one, so stay savage.